Hey friends, this is Gardening Friends and I'm your host Scott. Today I want to look at these tomato plants and I want to show you how I trim my tomato plants for my balcony. You see, I don't want them more than about 2.5 feet tall, and I don't like to exceed about 16 inches in width. I'm very limited. As you all know, I have a very tiny balcony. And well, let me get you in close and show you what I'm doing and what I'm talking about. I do a whole lot of pruning on my tomato plants. And some people say, oh, you're gonna kill your plant and you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that. Well, I don't know about you, but now does that look like that plant is dying? I think not. Tomatoes, branches of tomatoes, they seem to grow right under the leaves. So let's cut here, and let's cut this one too. There we go, look at that. Nice and clear. Just like this leaf right here. That's a separate branch, but it's right in front of this cluster right here. So what I'm going to do is just actually get rid of this whole branch right here. There you go. And all of a sudden your tomato plants has a whole bunch of tomatoes. They were there all along, you just couldn't see them. The thing is with this plant is actually two plants because there's two stalks coming out of the ground. There we go. Let's see what else. Let me turn it. Never cease to amaze me. Every time. See right there, I cut this branch. Right here, I cut the branch the other day. And of course, there's another shoot coming right out. So like I said, a tomato plant is a whole lot stronger than what people may think. So that's why I cut a lot of foliage. I try not to let foliage grow on top of foliage. All that energy can be going towards branches that are useful and the flowers and the tomatoes themselves. So that's why I remove the stuff that's really not doing nothing. You gotta serve a purpose, because if you don't, you're on the chopping block. That's the way I look at it. There's a branch from one and a branch from the other. So I'm gonna cut this one off right about there. And there we go. That looks pretty good. Now of course it needs a little bit of watering when I'm done with all the plants. So this is number one. Let's do number two here. What has to be done on this one? This one has actually 3 stalks coming out of the ground. So therefore there's going to be a lot of foliage going on top of each other, which is absolutely just a waste of energy. So bye bye. I'm just going to cut some of it so the sun can actually get inside, you know, to the whole plant. Like this branch here, it's actually prohibiting the sun from penetrating. But you look under there, it's full of leaves and it's full of tomatoes, so it's a good thing to get rid of this branch right here. So bye bye. There we go. See, now we've got a nice curve in there where the sun can get to everything, and the tomatoes here are in the open. Okay, now this branch here needs to go because there's tomatoes under here. And this branch, actually I'm going to cut that branch too. There we go. So it's getting a lot more open. But there's still some foliage in the way, like this. I need to be able to go see inside. The sun needs to be able to go inside. So There. Look at that. Much better. Now we can see the whole inside of the plant. You see this foliage right here. But if you lift this up, see that it's full of tomatoes and flowers. So what do? We get rid of it. Bye bye. So look at it now. If I back up, see now the sun can actually get to everything. And see that pile of leaves down there? That's energy now that the plant doesn't have to feed. And all that energy is all gonna go towards the rest of this plant, which is perfect. And it never ceased to amaze me. I cut here and 2 shoots come out like that. I cut there, 2 more shoots come out. So it's very hard to kill a plant unless you were to chop off all the leaves, because you need leaves for the plant to actually absorb sun. And the bottom, I don't like branches in the bottom too close to my dirt either, because it promotes fungus and whatnot. There's another one. There we go. Now look how clean the bottom looks. Nothing close to the ground or the dirt. And look how wide open it is now. Much better. Alright, let's go to the next one. And by the way, all these plants are about 2 feet, 2.5 feet. And okay, well, this is the 3rd one. I just want to look at it. See, like all these flowers are all open. That's perfect. Except for maybe this one leaf on top of a few flowers. I'm just going to remove it. Besides that, looks pretty good. There's another cluster of flowers, and there's another perfect example. You get there's 2 branches here fighting for space, and the top branch, I've already clipped it before, so you can see the leaves are very mature and very rugged like. But underneath that, you get this fragile little thing with a whole bunch of little tomatoes and flowers, and that big ugly thing's right on top of it. So I'm going to chop that off too. There, look at that. Now it's all in the open. So that means it can actually get some sunlight. So let's keep going around, making sure everything's okay. See, I just opened all of this up, all those flowers right there. So you're just trying to make the sun go everywhere on the plant. So there's no sense of leaves fighting for space. If they're fighting for space, you cut them, or you cut one of them. So that looks pretty darn good. If it wasn't for this whip, this tomato plant would be about 1 foot tall. But I didn't cut this whip because there's, if you can see up here, there's a whole cluster of flowers. But look at the size of the tomatoes, somewhat bigger than a golf ball. This is a cherry husky, so they're probably gonna grow, I don't know, 2 to 3 inches. I can see a bunch of stuff happening here. Here there's a big old mature branch that's in the way, because I want the sun to go past that and right into the middle, so I'm gonna cut this off. There we go. See that? I just created a big hole right here. Now the sun can actually go right inside. So, you have to lift up the branches, because if you lift up the branches, just like here, look, there's tomatoes under there, and this thing is right on top of it, so the sun can't get to it. And if the leaf ever gets some kind of fungi underneath or anything, it'll affect the tomato also, because it's touching the tomato. So I'm just gonna cut this little leaf right off. There, you see how open it is? It's all nice and opened. And that's what I try to do to all my plants. Okay, here's another little spot right here. I don't know if you can see right here. Now, see all this big branch here? That's one that I cut off a few times because it was in the way. But if you look under that, look at that. There's tomatoes and flowers, which is actually, I'm gonna cut it off a few inches. There we go. See that? It's all open and we can see the tomatoes and all the little goodies in there. So let's keep going around the plant, and it looks pretty good. All nice, clean. Sun can get to it. Now I just look at the bottom. See, there's suckers coming right out here. So I just pull those out. See that? I have a few inches, nothing touching. It's all clear, it's all perfect. There's another plant done. I basically only grow on my balcony, in front of my balcony. My patio is all on the south side, so I have a lot of heat and a lot of sun all day long. I can grow anything even inside because it's so sunny and warm. Now this one looks a little bit of a mess. Now if you look at this one, again, you lift this up, there's tomatoes underneath there, so we're just going to cut this little branch off. And the main branch is really low and the leaves are getting kind of rugged, so I'm actually just going to cut the bottom branch right off and let the sucker go up. Besides that, it all looks pretty good. I have another cluster over here. Over here I got another cluster under there, which is actually covered by all these leaves, so I'm going to cut a couple of these leaves off. And I just heard my wife come home. There she is. Come here, Angel. Come here. There, hold on. There's the there's my wife. I just thought I'd show her to you. Say hi. She's a little bashful. She doesn't like cameras too much. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, let's get back to business. Okay, what else can I do to this? Okay, it's pretty much open all the way. Do you see this, the size of these stalks? Because I trim them so much. Look at the size of these stalks. So, okay, all my plants are done. Well, as far as the tomato plant. Okay, guys, it's time for me to go, and I hope this episode taught you something about balcony pruning and how to keep things small but very healthy. Alright, until next time, we'll see you then. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye.